Benders postgame begins now, presented by the Inside the Rink Podcast Network at InsideTheRink.com. All your Bruins content and Bruins merch right there. Tip jar is open. Click the thumbs up and subscribe. This postgame show is available tomorrow morning on all podcast platforms. The Boston Bruins get their biggest road win of the season, 4-2 in Detroit. I'll tell you what, as you said just before, big boy win.
That is a big boy victory. Yeah. Absolutely. Had to have it. One of those games where their chances to make the playoffs go down like 10% if they lose the game, go up 10% if they win, 20% swing there. And they go on the road in Detroit against a team that's identical record as you. The game after 2 periods was essentially even. Same amount of shots, same amount of zone time, both 1 for 3 on the power play. And the Bruins in the third period find a way to get a road win and then close the thing out instead of pissing it away. So props to them. But really, it comes down to the play of your goaltender. He was sensational. Not even pretty good. You could say that Jeremy Swayman stole that one if you want to. Yeah. And I'll let you say it because he did. He 40 out of 41, I believe, for Swayman in that one.
Yeah, I think they have. Yeah.
No, 41 out of 43.
Yes. There you go.
For 953.
Yeah.
And a few of those were, 10 bell saves. Just unbelievable saves.
Mm-hmm.
One right after another. So, as much as we have shit on the guy, the last 2-3 weeks when they've needed him to be nails, he's been nails. He's been really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna have to carry over, for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs if they happen to make it. Yeah. They need Swayman to be one of their best players, and tonight he was their best player by far.
Yeah, I mean he. This is what we saw 2 years ago in the playoffs, right? This is where he played nails then. Had Toronto's number. They couldn't solve them. That's kind of what he was. And we've been kind of waiting for this. Of course, I mean, how many big games have they played, first off, in the last couple of years? Not many. But he does have a propensity for getting out for big games and playing his best hockey in big games. And this was, this is a huge game. I mean, the percentages where you win this game, it gets like 76% making it. If you lose it, it's like 56%. I mean, it's a 20% swing.
Huge game by all accounts.
Yes. Yeah. So, and he made some sparklers. I mean, I'm telling you, he had one under Brinket with a glove save. I don't know how he saw the puck. I have no idea how he saw the puck. Yeah. And then there was one late in the game. He made this pads in the right spot. And then the rebound, he's able to deflect it to the side of the net. Like, just huge saves when they needed it. Look, they still give up a lot of high danger chances.
Yes.
Too many.
And
it's going to hurt them in the end. I don't mean to be negative, but it's going to hurt them in the end. But, for all accounts, I mean, he has been outstanding. And if he had any semblance of a consistent defense in front of him, then he would definitely be in the Vezina talk.
He would be. And, I think even now, dragging this team to where they are, he might deserve to be in there. I mean, I know his overall statistics aren't great, but, we talked about it before. He's one of the highest in percentage of games with above a 900. He's had some bad games, and that's kind of been the knock on him is when he goes bad, he goes really bad. But consistently, he's been really good. And that's why the Bruins are kind of where they're at. Yeah, I know there's secondary scoring, and I know, Pastrnak's been good, and, you've had some, Fraser Minton's been a nice surprise. You have all these things that have kind of gone your way. But the main turnaround has been in goal, and it's been Jeremy Swayman.
It's had to be. I mean, it just is. It has had to be. David Pastrnak scores his 28th. He's within 6 now of Morgan Geekie for the team leading goals. He's creeping up. There's still a chance that he'll lead the team in goals when it's all said and done. again, that's a big time shot on was it the power play?
It was a power play. Yeah.
Yeah, power play goal, big time shot. The power play's been struggling. He a big time shot, snipe, huge goal when they were down 1-0. So that was Pastrnak stepping up, and he's been playing a little bit better the last few games. Then, of course, the pass to Husnudinov to get the empty netter shows some patience. As Sean McDonough says, shows some confidence in Husnudinov, and they score the goal that kind of wraps it up. So I thought Pastrnak is coming along too, and Pastrnak and Swayman both are in that category of they have to be at their best for this team to do anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he has a 4-game point streak now after today. Points in like 8 of his last 9 or something like that. So he's starting to come along. He had a little bit of a rough stretch there after the Olympic break, kind of getting back into things. It looks like he was battling something. He may still be battling something, but he's kind of fighting his way through it and producing now when they need him to. And I thought Morgan Geekie tonight was the best he's been in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 assists tonight, made a great pass cross ice on the goal by Elias Lindholm. Had 3 assists total. He much better, looked noticeable out there, which is nice to see because they need him to, score goals, get points, be productive on that third line to give them, the Bruins, a little bit of balance. Like the second line's been consistently good. That first line now with Pasta, Minton, and Husnudinov has been good as far as, scoring some goals, not as many as you would hope, but scoring some goals and actually not giving many up either. So they've been good offensively and defensively, just like the second line's been all year. And if they can get that third line to maybe chip in a little bit now, then you have something. Offensively. The fourth line still, like Sean Kuraly, is an absolute black hole if we want to get a little negative. One of a few guys who was a minus player. I thought, Kastelic and Joonas are out there hitting and doing the things they do and creating some turnovers and holding the puck down low. But Kuraly is just, I don't know what he really adds to the team at this point in time. So I would like to see them make a move there. And hopefully, fingers crossed, when the Bruins sign James Higgins to his ELC, Husnudinov bumps down to that 4C. Kuraly takes a seat, and Higgins is on the top line with Minton and Pastrnak. But I think that's probably wishful thinking. What do you got?
Yeah,
Connor?
I mean the penalty kill is a big thing with him. They still think he's a good penalty killer. I think he's average, but whatever. All right, Connor, go ahead.
I just wanted to take a moment and join your guys' club as people stealing my shtick. And recently we talked about those lines and, bumping Husnudinov down to the fourth line to center that line. And lo and behold, there was another podcast out, and I know that one of the hosts listens. So shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Posted the same lines and had quite the discussion with plenty of interaction. I went and I read through all those comments and people's reactions to my lines, and I was like, yeah, exactly what I thought. Appreciate it.
Yeah, look, hey, kudos to him. He put it out there when we probably should have. So maybe we should, fire you. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Hey, look, I think we bring up some good points on the program, and people see some of the good points, and it makes them think, and they agree. How's that? Elias Lindholm. So he did score a goal, had an assist, played better, had I think 4 shots on net, was obviously more noticeable today. 15 and a half minutes, played a lot. Obviously defensive zone draws. Was he the one who won at the end for the empty netter?
No, it was Minton.
It was Minton. Okay, so Minton dug it out.
He'd gotten his lunch eaten by who was it for Detroit? Who had won? He had won like 13 of 16.
Yeah, it's a Confer. Confer won 14 out of 18.
Yeah, and so one of the ones he lost was that last one there where the Bruins Minton won it, and the Bruins ended up with the empty netter. So good on Minton. I think Minton ended up being 8-7 in the draw.
Yeah, but it was Zacha who got destroyed. 3 for 13.
Yeah, Minton ended up 8-7. Elias Lindholm 6-9. Zacha 3-10. So not great there.
Yeah. So I mean, Lindholm. I mean, look, he's obviously probably battling something. Of course, confidence has probably been down.
Sure.
He's hearing a lot of stuff about himself. Tonight, he was wide open, and Geekie hit him with the pass, and
Great
he
pass.
didn't just fire it aimlessly. He caught it, and he got kind of, Gibson kind of off his angle, and he was able to score the goal. So it showed good patience, and hopefully that's something that can get him going. Because look, at this point, you can either root for him to fail, which sometimes I feel like I want to, so that they'll try to get rid of him. But at the end of the day, they probably aren't. So you really have to root for him to find some sort of magic potion and get to a point where he can be a pretty good player for you, because it's a really tough contract to unload.
Yeah, look, I still want them to try to unload that thing.
Absolutely.
In the meantime, and this could only help the contract.
Yes.
Only help them trying to unload the thing.
Mm-hmm.
If he plays better now and down the stretch and hopefully into the playoffs, that can only help you unload the contract. I still want them to get rid of that thing and that contract. So the better he plays, the easier it is to move that contract. It's still going to be difficult, but the better he plays, the easier it is to move it. So play really well down the stretch and into the playoffs, hopefully. And that can only help.
Zaddy Daddy on the board with a nice little short side snipe. Gibson off his angle. We'll take it.
A bit of a softie there.
Yeah. So
I would say Elias Lindholm's probably was a bit of a softie too.
Yeah, there was a couple softies there for Gibson.
Yeah.
He's a little shaky. Yeah. But hey, you know what? I get, it was kind of time for the Bruins to get a break or two on the road.
Sure.
And Zadorov scores a goal. Looked elated. I think he is battling something. I think it's been a long, grinding year for him. He has talked about playoffs, and he's definitely someone who steps up in postseason in the past. These are the games that really matter right now. I think you're going to start seeing a better version of Zadorov, and hopefully the goal gives him a little bit of energy and adrenaline. This is first. He only had one other goal, October 16th, 64 games with a guy who usually scores 6 to 8 to 9 goals a year, and this is his second one, and it's good for him, because I think you're going to start seeing him play a little bit better and be a little more noticeable out there.
Yeah, I think so. I think he is battling since he fell awkwardly on that knee. I think he's got a knee. He's got a knee problem. It's kind of hampered his skating some, I think. Maybe the strength down low to battle guys and box them out. He just doesn't have the same, support. So yeah, he's clearly been hampered by that. And you hope now, even if he's still battling something there a little bit, that this kind of gives him a shot of adrenaline to kind of push him through to the end.
Yeah. And then Swayman, just outstanding. He's been, facing the most high danger chances. He saves the most high danger chances. He stands on his head sometimes. Sometimes, in the game, he hasn't had one of those games lately where he gives up 5 or 6 and it gets away from him. He's been locked in. He's been a little bit more playing with that kind of swagger again, but not to a point where he looks kind of goofy and foolish and gives up a goal. It's more of confident and ready to play in big games. The DeBrincat goal, I'm not quite sure what happened there. It was a really good shot from a guy who scores 35 goals. He's a really good goal scorer. A little screen to start, but I don't know. But
I think it was posting it, crossbarring in.
Just over the shoulder, which is almost impossible.
Right. It was a great shot. The guy scores 35 goals a year for a reason.
Great shot. And I also want to mention Mason Lohrei, who all of a sudden looks like Chris Pronger out there. Like everything he does now is the right play. It's a different person out there. He made several plays. The goal by Elias Lindholm, credit Lohrei for standing at the blue line.
Yeah, great keep.
Keeping that fucking thing in so that Geekie can find Lindholm for the goal. Great play. There were other plays all night long where Lohrai's just playing confidently. One where he looked a little gassed. He's trying to go back for the puck. He gets there barely, but then he curls, able to possess it, and get away from the defender and make a play up the ice.
Mhm.
Like that back in the day, that's a play where he's stumbling, bumbling, fumbling, gets his stick lifted, and the guy's walking in. So, I mean, he's just playing with great confidence, and God bless, because
Yeah, they need it.
they need it, but this also leaves you to think that maybe Hampus Lindholm, if they can get out from under that thing, that maybe now, and I can't believe I'm saying this because we wanted him off the fucking hockey team.
Yeah.
Like he went from, I don't know if there's a guy ever on this show who's gone from we don't want him on the team to now planning the future with the guy. I can't remember a guy like that.
No, I can't either. And, when they put Hampus and Mason together and Mason on his offside, you were like, oh, I don't know about that. Like,
yeah, right.
Lohrei playing his offside where he can't really play on his strong side. You're like, that might be a mistake.
Yeah.
And of the two guys, I feel like Lohrei is the one that's kind of made that pair what it is. It's not Hampus.
It's not Hampus.
It's Lohrei. It's the fact that Lohrai's been really, really good since he's gone to his offside. And maybe that's the key. Like he went to his offside and they're like, look, you're on your offside. You can't fuck around with it. You have to make a quick play. You have to make the smart play. You have to make an easy play, whatever it is. And I wonder if that simplified things for him a little bit. And it's kind of just his confidence has grown since that. Like he started off, not trying to do anything too much, not being risky with the puck. And his confidence has grown. Like, oh, I can do this. Like it's easier than I thought. I just don't have to get out over my skis. I just have to make the easy play. Or if I don't have a play, I just bang it up the boards or whatever the case may be. And his confidence has just grown and grown and grown. And he's really been the steady force on that second pair. It's been him.
It's been him. And that's a great sign, because if he can be a top 4 defenseman on the right side, it's still kind of a small sample size, but if he can continue to do that, then that helps him a ton. Now they can go out and get a right side penalty killer type defenseman, and kind of make that thing work. Look at someone's Forrest says in here, the Bees are good. They are. I mean, they're 39, 23, and 8. Like we bang on them. We pick every little, weakness out of them. Every little blemish they have. We gnaw at them. Part of it's because we didn't think they were good to coming into the season. So we're trying to still get over that thing, like get over the fact that we don't love their roster.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they're at 86 points and could get 100 points. Could have a 100-point season. And it's kind of mind-blowing to me. But, they are, when they play like this, they are pretty good. When their defense, obviously defense hasn't been great, but when they're getting great goaltending and kind of opportunistic offense, then they are pretty good. It's been a matter of being better on the road. And finally they get a road win. And hopefully it continues, because there's 2 big games against Columbus that are probably still going to make or break the season. And those are going to be big ones. So getting this win should help some confidence level going down the road.
It should. But like you said, like they're getting great goaltending. Like it took an otherworldly effort from Jeremy Swayman for them to win this game. Yeah, they're good, but they're still not great defensively, and their goaltending has been really good.
Yes.
So, if Jeremy Swayman has an average night tonight or has a good night and not a great night, they lose this game.
They do. Yeah.
If he's just good and not great, they probably lose 4-2.
4-2, yeah.
Probably the other way around.
Yeah, probably.
So let's not pretend because they won the game on the road that all of a sudden everything is great, because they're still giving up way too many high danger chances.
Yeah,
still way too many chances, in the slot, too many, not clearing guys off on rebounds. Like, there was a ton of chances for the Wings in this one. They had 43 shots.
Yeah.
Swayman was just, superb.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it took for them to win, to get a road win, their 12th of the year. So let's not pretend that everything's, 100% fine. And this is a team from 3 years ago that's going to win the President's Trophy. Let's not do that thing. Let's not, because they finally won a road game against the team you're tied in the standings with, let's not make them out now that they're, the 90 Edmonton Oilers. They're not.
Right. Right. I mean, there's still obviously some holes in the lineup and so forth, and they are getting the great goaltending. I mean, can it sustain? I mean, it's just a hot streak where he comes back to earth a little, and that's where it gets scary, coming back to earth a little.
Yeah, that's the thing, is can Swayman sustain this kind of game? I don't think so. I mean, I certainly hope so.
Yeah. But
to ask him to have a 950 every game is ridiculous.
Like 40.
Yeah. Like Thomas had a 937 when he won the Conn Smythe or something like that. Like, and that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
Like anything above 920 is ridiculous. And he had a 937. Swayman had a 950 whatever tonight. You can't sustain that. That's not going to happen every night. Yeah. So, yes, great win, big win, but you lay this one at the feet of Jeremy Swayman and you say, "Thank you, Jeremy. We got to be better for you.
Yeah, we got to be better
in front of you the next game."
And I think
better defensively still.
Right, and I think they can. I think that there's not a lot of separation between teams in the East. Obviously, the Lightning are a little bit better than everybody else, but the problem is going to be in like a 7 games. Can you beat a team 4 times? And that involves winning road games because you won't have home ice. So that's where you kind of wonder if they can do that. But right now, I mean, it's such a logjam, and there's so many teams sort of the same that they're right there with everybody else. So if their goalie's hot and Pastrnak's hot, and they could figure out some defense, and they could continue to lock down defensively, then maybe they can get there and be a kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, if they play Buffalo in the first round, I'd love to see it, because Buffalo has no experience in the playoffs. They're riding this hot streak that came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. They've been losers for a while, 17 years or whatever out of the playoffs. And then they get in there with all the pressure of the top seed. Then, that could be a series that you could really do some damage in, because you have nothing to lose in that situation. So I'd like to see it myself.
I would love to see it.
Yeah.
I would love to.
So Leafs at home and then at Sabres back to back. So you would have to think that Korpi goes Tuesday and Swayman goes Wednesday in Buffalo. And then they have another back to back Saturday, Sunday. Wild at home at Jackets. Obviously that has to be Korpi Sway again.
I think you alternate it. So you start Korpi Tuesday, then it's Sway Wednesday, and then the same thing. Korpi gets the Wild on Saturday, and Sway gets the Jackets on Sunday, because that's a conference game. That's the bigger game. Like, that's the one you need. Mm-hmm. You need the Columbus game, and you need the Buffalo game more than you need, Toronto and Minnesota. I mean, you'd hope that Korpi can still beat Toronto with the way things are going up there.
Yeah.
And then, again, I mean, you'd like them to win all the games, so you'd like Korpi to go in there against the Wild on Saturday and get a win. But, the Wild are really good. So
yeah, they are. And the Stars the Stars are home too later.
Yeah.
So some of the non-conference are good teams, good solid playoff teams, cup contending playoff teams. Be interesting. Toronto, they kind of a loose cannon now. They kind of they played a little bit better. They won a couple of games here or there. They had the thing with Matthews, where no one kind of stood up for him. It's hard to tell what you're going to get from a Toronto, and you could certainly overlook them. And that's something Tuesday night. Hopefully they come in at home, where they've been great all year, and get those 2 points. All right. Benders Banter is brought to you by Evolve ABA, which offers consulting services from a board-certified behavior analyst to adult day programs in residences, schools, and even businesses using the principles of applied behavior analysis. Evolve ABA is also pleased to offer staff training in collaboration with parents of children with autism and other special needs wishing to learn more about the science of applied behavior analysis. To learn more about Evolve ABA, call Sean Daly at 774-823-5016 or visit evolveaba.net. Matthew Curtis, if Elias has another great gear for playoffs, now would be a nice time to shift into it. Certainly. He had that good playoff again with Vancouver before Boston signed him. That line, Lucas Reichel tonight played 10.5 minutes, I think it was. There was a time in the middle of the game where I texted you guys. It was like, is Reichel in witness protection already? Like, I felt like I hadn't seen him in a while. Then all of a sudden, he blows doors on someone, gets hooked by Kane. It was Patty Kane, hooks him. And he goes in for a penalty shot. Like, it was like all of a sudden shot out of a cannon. Shows his great speed. And gets stoned by Gibson. But that's the type of, I guess, speed. The question I have is, can Geekie and Lindholm keep up with the guy? Like, is it a good match that way? But I think he does add a dimension where he could win a puck or beat people to pucks and maybe give Geekie and Lindholm some more opportunity. I'm interested to see what that line looks like after 4, 5, 6 games. Like, if they're starting to gel, starting to create something, get something going, and see what happens there.
Yeah, I think it does. He does absolutely give that line a dimension. And I don't know if those guys are used to playing with someone that quick, because they should be starting to like lay pucks into spots that he can skate onto them and things like that, which, hopefully will come with a little more, time playing together, a little more chemistry. So you'd like to see them maybe take advantage of that speed a little bit more. And hopefully that will come, in the coming days.
Yes. Dan Maynard, God damn it. Sweens will just think Elias is unstoppable now. Yeah. They see everybody? Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Connor, did you have something?
Yeah, on the Reichel joining that line, I think his speed is also going to make the opposing defense back off and create a lot more space for Geekie and Lindholm. Mm-hmm. That's going to allow Geekie to kind of do his thing and hopefully let Elias Lindholm be a little bit more of himself.
I mean, let's be honest. Taylor Hall did that for Trent Frederick.
Sure did.
I mean, his speed created some space for Frederick, who scored 18 goals. Mm-hmm. And it helped Coyle and Frederick, and that line was pretty good. So, yeah, maybe Reichel can have – now, I don't know if he's not Taylor Hall.
No.
But maybe his speed can help in that regard. So that's a valid point, talking about space, especially with Geekie, who needs some space to rip off some shots. He was third. I think he has a third fastest shot this year at 103.3. I saw a list where he had the third. Zaddy and Elias on the same night. Buy a lottery ticket, says Doc Davey. Absolutely. If you had that fucking parlay.
Oh, wow.
Of like Husnudinov, fucking Lindholm, and Zadorov.
Wow. You'd be swimming in money right now.
Yeah, you should sleep in that. Geekie with 3 apples tonight, Victoria. Absolutely.
He was much better tonight, I thought.
He was. Sway was on fire tonight, Jones.
Yes.
They need him to be, and he was. Honestly, the way he has been playing, I can see him being in the Vezina conversations as Victoria. And I think it started, I don't know, just after the break, or that thing started with the high danger chances and the goals above expected and all that stuff. And I think it's going to continue if he plays this way and kind of not drag, but he kind of aids the Bruins to make the playoffs. Then I think you absolutely have to consider him in some way. Even if his typical standard numbers aren't great, but what the effect he has on the team is immeasurable.
Yeah, we talked about this on an episode. Should Sway be in the Vezina conversation? I said yes, and I don't believe either of you guys said yes.
No, I did not. I said no, and I said no because it's hard to at the time. It's hard. Yeah. How do you give the Vezina to a guy who has a 296 and a fucking 902?
Right. So I was saying the question was, should he be in the conversation? And I said yes, because he should be in the conversation, but he shouldn't win it. I still feel that way. He should be in the conversation. You want to say he's in the top 5? I'll say yes. Should he win the thing? No.
Yeah.
But he should be in the conversation because he's dragging this team, through all the things we talked about, the percentage of games above 900, the goals saved above expected, the, high danger saves, all that stuff is reason that he should be in the conversation with a team that plays kind of, let's say it, it's poor defensively in front of him.
Absolutely.
So he's put up really good numbers despite that. And he should be in the conversation. He shouldn't win it, but he should be in the conversation for sure.
For sure. Adrian, happy birthday to your husband. Hope the pub crawl was great.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like a good
Pub
time.
crawl sounds dynamic right now. Macaulay Martin. This is the Swayman they paid $8 million for. Just saying. This is the kind of goalie that's capable of stealing playoff series. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So, yes, if he's playing like this in big games, then I'm totally fine with it.
All true.
Totally fine. Totally fine with it.
Yep.
Just before, I mean, you can't. I mean, look, both can be true. You can agree that the guy wasn't playing up to the standard and it was too erratic.
Yes.
Last year and beginning of this year, a couple of games here or there, but for the most part, now he's definitely 8.25. Yeah, great. This is fine. No problem with it. And this is kind of what we wanted to see. Maybe he had to get past the contract and missing training camp and getting into a rut, having a not so great year. The team kind of, trade 6 guys at the deadline. It was kind of a rough year last year. And now maybe he's more focused for the most part, healthy. He's well trained. And now this is kind of what you're going to get. And if this is what you're going to get, then I think it's fine. I think the contract's fine. I think he can be the goalie the next 6 years. No problem.
Here's one of the things that I feel like is happening now that wasn't really the case earlier in the season is it doesn't seem to me like he's as preoccupied with the guys in front of the net as he has been earlier in the season or last year or, the goalie fight or all that extra ancillary bullshit that he seemed to get caught up in. He doesn't seem caught up in right now. Like now he seems focused on, I'm going to make a save. I'm going to stop the puck. I'm not going to worry about who's in front of me and if he's screening me or if I can whack him or not whack him or, did he whack my glove after I covered the puck? Like he doesn't seem to be worried about all that bullshit. And he just seems more focused on stopping the puck, making a save and letting the defense worry about what's happening in front of the net. And I think that's a positive because I think he plays better when he's more focused on the puck and not what's going around him.
Yeah. And I think that's part of the reason why the DeBrincat scored the goal is that Lohrei and a Detroit player kind of came in front of him and he said something to the official, I think, or something right after the goal was scored. He kind of looked to his right and gestured and said something. I don't know what it was, but if he can see the puck, especially when he's on and he's, good angles and not giving up tons of rebounds, his rebound controls are much better this year. So pretty good stuff. Let's hope Hagens is a great shootout penalty shot guy, says Severed Soul. Pejman, a regulation road win. Who would have thought? Massive W. It is.
Yeah.
Matthew Curtis says a jaw-dropping performance, particularly by Swayman. Zach Hay Sway for the win, top 3 performance, if not the best by him this year. Exciting game. Both teams treated it like a playoff game. It was a very good game.
Yeah, it was.
It was good. Detroit played, I thought, pretty well. Bruins get the comeback win. What was it? 18 or 19 comeback or something. There was some big number of comebacks that the Bruins have had.
Really? I didn't see that.
But yes, they
probably when my stream froze.
What's that?
Probably when my stream froze. It froze on ABC today, so it's not just Nesson, even though I killed Nesson.
Maybe it's Fubo.
Yeah, might be.
Maddie better be positive. Well, it's just one road win. I'm not convinced, Andrew Pedro. You know what? Give me another win, Andrew, and Buffalo on Wednesday. I'm kidding. I mean, this is a great win, and this definitely has me thinking. Columbus is still a bitch. I mean, they're still playing great. Everybody's bought in.
Columbus, you don't have to worry about Columbus.
Yeah,
Columbus can make the playoffs. They're going to be 3 in the Metro. It's the New York Islanders who you have to worry about now.
And they're not playing great.
No, they lost the Canadiens tonight. So Bruins have number 1 wild card with 86, but Detroit is still second with 84, and then Islanders have 83. So I wouldn't fixate on Columbus anymore. It's going to be the Islanders that you have to worry about, and possibly Philly out of nowhere.
Yeah, Philly's coming hard, yeah. And Senators are pretty good too.
And the Senators still have 78, I think.
Yeah.
So those teams are still, right on your heels. So you can't have a losing streak. But I think Columbus is in. Like they might pass
just all
in the Metro. You got to worry about the Islanders and Sens and so forth.
DKJ Barry, wonder if Zacha is injured. Brutal on the faceoff tonight. Middlestat took the last faceoff on that line. Yeah, not a great night for Zacha as a whole, I thought. But hey, he's been on a friggin' heater.
Yeah,
so you knew that thing was coming back. Just not great tonight. There was some good. I thought Middlestat played pretty well tonight. He made some nice passes, and he was winning pucks, and I thought Middlestat played a pretty good game. He had a couple of chances. There was one shot he came down. I think Gibson might have made the save or something where he had a really great chance in front. I thought he played pretty well. And of course, Arvidsson gives you everything he has. He's an absolute kind of rat in there. He gives you everything he has. He grinds. He had one play. Was it Lohrei? Lohrei came over. That was the other play by Lohrei. Comes around the net and throws a cross like a back diagonal.
For the
Arvidsson hammers it.
Yeah.
Gibson makes the save. That was a great play.
It was.
That was. This team is going to give me a stroke, says Nat Pat. I suddenly have hope for this team for the first time since Bergeron. No trades were made, and this team has to rely on each other. God damn it. Seriously, the second after I posted my last comment, Swayman is being interviewed and said the exact same thing that I just said, says Nat Pat. Yeah, Nat, we're all kind of getting dragged into this thing. And, at some point, after this week, Maple Leaf Sabres, I'm going to have to jump in. I'm going to have to jump in with both feet. I don't know if I'll be green, but I'll be fucking...
Jump in with both feet. The water's nice.
Yeah, I'll be jumping in with both feet. Yeah.
Give you some floaties. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'll swim up. Is there a swim up bar? There better be a swim up.
Yeah. We'll make sure there's a swim up bar.
I'll give me a couple of floaties.
Yeah.
I typically stay in the 3-footer.
Yeah.
But, just waiting and drinking my drink.
Yeah.
With my bucket hat on. Jonesy, every time I try to break up with this team, they buy me a chicken parm from Fulsonides and all is forgiven. Yeah. They suck you right back in.
That would me in too. Give me a slice of calzone. So give me a slice of Italian calzone too, and I'll jump right in.
That's right. B Wags, Brian says this podcast has got this casual fan into someone who watches this game over March Madness. Appreciate you, Smitty and Maddie.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, B Wags.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
That's a good endorsement right there.
That's a good endorsement. That's like a promo. Yeah. That's where the testimonial page.
Yeah.
That's the first one.
Customer testimonial.
Testimonial. They still do that shit. Testimonials.
Yeah.
Lucky Charm. This team plays to their opponent's level a lot. They stoop down to lower teams and sometimes lose, but play hard against top teams. I'm actually glad we have the toughest schedule left. Yeah, there's a point right there.
It is a point. That is a good idea. Good point.
They do kind of play a level of competition at times because they're not super talented.
Right.
So that's going to happen. Maybe the sense of urgency is there every night. They're going to play as hard as they can and give you the best, most nights.
They do seem to get up for the big games though. Like Colorado, they played well. They seem to get up for some of those big teams. So that's a good point. I'd like to see them play well down the stretch. So
yeah,
and they're going to have a bunch of playoff teams to test themselves against.
I think Philly's in there too, right? I think they play the Flyers maybe a couple times.
I think they do.
Brady Whittier, thoughts on the Emily Kaplan report about the Bruins and Hagens discussing pro pathways going forward? I might lose my mind, Brady. I swear to Christ, if he doesn't play for the NHL Bruins like Tuesday or Wednesday, I'm going to lose my mind. I really am. If there's any other, I don't know what the question is. I don't even know what the discussion is. I don't know. But that makes me nervous that there's ongoing discussions about pathways. What's the discussion? How much do you want? And what's the contract look like? Go ahead, Connor.
I mentioned this earlier maybe like 2 to 3 months ago that there's going to be a choice to make with James Higgins on his contract, and it's going to tell a lot about how the organization feels about him coming into this roster. And it's about signing him and immediately playing him and burning a year of the ELC and essentially having a 2-year contract for James Higgins, where he comes in, he signs an ATO in Providence, he plays the rest of the year, and then you sign him to an ELC at the end of the year. And he has a full 3-year runway into the NHL, possibly, if he's not buried in the AHL because you put him on an ETO.
Yeah, he wants to burn. He wants to burn a year. I'm sure he wants to.
Oh, if I'm him, I don't give a shit about that.
I don't know. Maybe the Bruins are of the opinion right now, like, we have a good group. We like the way everybody's playing. We don't want to take anybody out of the lineup, kind of a thing. I mean, I could see that. I mean, I don't agree with it, but I could see them thinking that.
I think in a sneaky way, the Reichel trade was kind of tells you something about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they don't think, because they get Reichel to play left wing. It almost tells me that in their mind, they kind of want to do what Connor just said and get him on a full 3-year deal starting next year. Now, whether he knows to do that, I don't know. Do I want him doing that? No. I'd rather you just sign him to the Bruins and then 2 more years, and then you extend him if he's doing great. Like, you just, I don't. It's kind of like the Red Sox. It's kind of like the baseball thing where you service time and all that, and you don't want to burn the service time. I don't know. I just think you put your best out there, and I think Higgins, should play in the NHL these last few games. It'll give him a taste of really good, like, playoff style hockey in the NHL, and give him a little bit of a taste of it rather than going to Providence and playing with fucking Patrick Brown and Joey Abate.
I just feel like they don't really trust young guys, and having a young guy come into the thick of the playoff race, I just see them saying, now is not the time for him to join the Bruins. Like, I think out of it, 100% he comes in and starts with the Bruins and plays with the Bruins, I think. But because they're in the thick of it, and every game matters, I just feel like they're probably going to do like Connor said, and he's going to sign, either he'll sign his entry level contract and he'll go to Providence. I don't even know if they can do that. Or if, he waits, like he says, and they signs the ATO and plays, the playoffs in Providence and then is a black ace after that or something. I don't know. I feeling that they just don't trust young guys. So him coming into the middle of the playoff race, I don't think is what they'd like to see. It's what I'd like to see, but I don't think it's what they'd like to see. What do you got, Connor?
The only thing that I have to say against Higgins coming and immediately playing is what happened to Poitras early on in his career. Mm-hmm. And especially with hockey being as physical and intense as it is leading up to the playoffs, I think there would be quite an opportunity for him to get injured playing in some games down the stretch or potentially even in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the biggest guy, so that's certainly, something that he and they would have to worry about, I think.
Yeah, it leads me to believe that the Bruins I think the Bruins are a little surprised at how good. I think Sweeney is a little surprised by this whole thing. I think it kind of gave him pause at the deadline, and I think it's giving him pause now. I don't think he predicted this happening. I don't. Because at the trade deadline, it seemed to shift what he was doing because they deserved, to see it through. And now with Higgins, I think it might be the same type of thing. You know what? And they get Lucas Reichel. Like, to me, that's a sign that they're gonna play Higgins at Providence, maybe get some Calder Cup playoff action, and then he'll make the team. Coming out of training camp. I think it's disappointing. I do. But I think Connor's right. Poitras had the same type of thing with the contract and burning the year. But they had to play him because they had no center. They had like very little center play, so they had to play him. So I don't know. I'd be disappointed because like everybody else, I want to see Higgins play on the hockey team. I think he comes in as one of your, one of the top 12 forwards you have in the organization, and you play him. So sounds like they're going to alienate Higgins. Yeah, severed soul. With Lohrei, I feel like there's some correlation with him switching sides, says Matthew Curtis. Yes, I think we believe that too. Lohrei has been a different player since he heard he was being shopped. That could be true as well, Harry.
There's a bunch of different.
He was being shopped while his sister was in the building.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Well, that's another thing. Is it because he was being shopped? It was because he had a family member come and visit, and everybody was, hot for his sister. Is it that? Is it that he got into a scrum with somebody and he held his own and he realized, I'm a big guy, I can hold my own in this league. There's all those things. Then they're switching sides and putting him with Hampus Lindholm instead of, other guys that he's played with. So there's a whole number of factors there that it could be. I don't really give a shit what it is. I like the fact that he's playing well now, and I want him to keep doing it. So whether it's different sides, whether it's his sister, whether it's, playing with Hampus Lindholm, whether it's knowing that he can stick up for himself, whatever it is, I don't care. As Jack says, thank you, Zoe. Yes. Thank you, Zoe.
Yeah. Thanks, Zoe. Forrest says, no team is perfect. The Bruins have good character. Their flaws are not character flaws or lack of effort. What more could you ask from this roster? Yes, I think the roster is getting the most out of themselves, and I think Sturm's getting the most out of it. Like, yes, the roster, it's a really pretty cool story, in Bruins history, that this team is not one of the more talented teams they've had, yet they could still get to 100 points and make the playoffs and potentially win a first round series. So it's potentially a pretty good story.
Yeah, really good story.
But we just have our heads in this, like, we want the roster to be improved, and we still see some weaknesses in it. But if it was, I guess in a different situation, we'd be really appreciative of this type of, because typically in Boston, you're appreciative of the underdog and the team that overachieves and plays hard every night. Like that's a Boston thing. Boston people love that. So I think Bruins fans should really probably love this team. Bruins fans like me.
Yeah.
Because in most cases, I would love a team like this. You know what I mean? No expectations, and you just fucking, basically have your middle finger in the air and you're going to make it anyway. Like that's a pretty cool story. So maybe I should fucking
get on board.
Who sits for Higgins? No chance it's Kuraly. All that Bruins culture shit keeps him in the lineup, says Sebastian. Yeah, the penalty killed us.
Yeah, that's what the problem is.
That's what the problem is. Yeah.
That's why I don't know at the current time if there's a spot for Higgins on the team.
Yeah. I think they probably send Reichel down, and if they want him there, they send Reichel down.
Yeah, I mean, that would be, right now, it seems like that would be the move. Mm-hmm. It's that third line left wing. So if Reichel keeps playing well, then, there's a debate to be had.
Is Alex Steve still on the team?
Yeah, he's a black ace right now.
Speaking of witness protection.
Yeah.
Severed Soul. Did you guys get a sense of a possible disagreement between Higgins and Sweeney after that Kaplan update? I think I don't know. I don't know what
there is
about. I think there is. I think that maybe Higgins thought it's a done deal, and now Sweeney's like, Jesus, we're pretty good. We're gonna put a rookie in there. 10 games left. What's that gonna do to the room? Guy's gonna be pissed. Someone's gonna lose his spot. I think he's in a bind right now. Sweeney's probably trying to say to Higgins, you know what? We could get you down to Providence, and they're like the top team in the fucking AHL, and you can play in the playoffs there just for the rest of the year. And then you have every opportunity. You're going to make the team out of training camp in the fall, and then all guns blazing, 3 years, deal and all that stuff. And Higgins is probably like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I don't know how much of a disagreement it is. I don't know if it's probably not an ill will kind of thing or anything, but I think it's Sweeney probably trying to play that game to try to say, you know what? Let's put you in Providence. And Higgins is like, I don't love it. Go ahead, Connor.
In my eyes, this comes down to two things. One of them is, in my eyes, a nothing burger, and the other one is a huge problem. One, it's contractual, and Sweeney is looking at the board and saying 2 years down the road, this is going to be much more of a problem for us to do as an organization to try and re-sign him to what we think he might want compared to 3. Sure, whatever. You've got to make that happen. The other one, like you mentioned, is he thinks this team is doing too well and performing too well that I don't want him to come in and mess this up, which then tells me something else. Don Sweeney or the organization doesn't believe that James Higgins has anything that he can provide this roster right now, which is much more of a problem to me.
And they said they just didn't want to make the playoffs to make it. Cam Neely said those words. So what you're saying is you want to make the playoffs to make it and not play the kid coming in the first round pick. So that's contradictory if that's what it is. So I think that has to be it.
I think there's a disagreement because I think Higgins wants to be on the Bruins and he wants to burn a year of the ELC, and Sweeney doesn't necessarily want him to start in Boston right away. I think you might want him to sign the ELC, but maybe start in Providence, get a few games under his belt, and then see what happens. And I think he'll sign. I don't think it's like you said. I think it's more of a minor disagreement or but he'll sign. But it's just how they figure out where he's going to start and how that is all going to play out. I think. Down the road. What do you got, Connor?
In my opinion, if you as an organization think that this kid has what it takes to be a potential star on your organization, you cannot start off your relationship with James Higgins in a negative framing. So this can't be he wants A, B, and C, and you completely cuck him on all 3. Like you've got to make it work with the kid to some extent if he's going to be your top prospect.
Absolutely. Yeah, so sure. They do have to figure it out. I think there's a minor disagreement on how they're going to start his pro career. And that's why I think they said that there'll be some conversations in the next day or 2. Yeah. He'll eventually sign. And then, we'll see what happens from there.
Michigan Mike has a sip tonight. Bardstown high wheated bourbon, 107 proof.
High wheated? Yeah. Does that mean there's THC in there? Is there pot in that baby?
Weeded,
I weeded. I had 2 wonderful fucking alcoholic drinks tonight out at dinner.
Did you?
I had a old fashioned, which was fantastic.
Good.
But then I had it was like a Kahlua Bailey's Frangelico after dinner drink. Oh,
really?
Fuck.
Cool. It was Bailey's. Wow.
Frangelico. Yeah. It was so good.
Frangelico, yeah. Eileen's a big Frangelico fan.
All of it. It was so good.
She likes Frangelico in her espresso martini. She puts it in there.
Sure.
It's pretty good. If I'm Higgins, I stay in school if they're putting me on Providence. No, thank you. He's got to be making some NIL money, says Mick Rack. Look, I think he's
coming out.
He's coming out, but I don't think a season. I get what you're saying. I don't get it. I don't think a season of college hockey is gonna motivate him in any way, shape, or form.
No, he's done with college hockey. I don't know if it was on the broadcast or somewhere else, but basically said he's not aged out, but whatever. Like he's too good for college hockey now. Like he needs to be challenged, whether that's the AHL next or the NHL level. But he's done with the NCAA hockey at this point. He's just it's time for him to turn pro. He wanted to turn pro after his freshman year. Like he really, he was even considering not even going to BC. Like not even going to BC. Like he just wanted to play hockey. So he's been wanting to come out now for a while, and I think the Bruins talked him into a second year, and I think it was good for him. But it's time now for him to start his pro career. What do you got, Connor?
And to clarify, to burn his ELC, he would have to play 10 or more games for your Boston Bruins, and the playoffs count.
Yeah, so I think what they want him to do maybe is start in Providence and get some games there, kind of like Reichel did. Reichel played, what, 2 or 3 games? 3 games?
Yeah, 3 games.
Before he came up to Boston. So that may be what you see. He may start in Providence, play 2 or 3 games down there to just kind of get his feet wet, get into the system a little bit, have them teach him the system down there. So he's not up in Boston costing the Bruins games with, his defensive positioning or whatever. And then come up and hopefully help him, down the stretch, the last handful of games and hopefully into the playoffs.
Zach A says, this is the problem. Sweeney's never had a clear plan with Higgins. The decision for him to join the
in the middle of all this positivity, we'll get into the Sweeney still doesn't have a plan for fucking anything.
And it's a valid point. Why is this discussion happening right now? Sweeney's been at Conti for Kelly Rink fucking 15 times in the last month.
Yeah.
Like, why is this conversation happening now?
Right.
Which leads me to believe that Sweeney's trying to change the plan, change the rules.
Right.
He's trying to get Higgins to do him a solid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what leads me to believe. Well, this thing would have been set to go.
Yeah, why didn't this conversation already happen? Because it did already happen, and now Sweeney's changing his mind.
Yes.
He wants it.
Yes, I think he's trying to change, make some slight changes to it because he doesn't want to screw up the roster. He doesn't want guys to get pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a valid reason for it. Michigan Mike says 39% wheat.
39% weed?
Wheat.
Oh,
wheat. Like gluten, like the runs.
Weed.
No.
Jesus. No, I was talking about weed, Michigan Mike.
Yeah.
THC. I thought you had the old doobage right in there.
THC in that bad boy.
Yeah.
Adrian says, what's a black ace?
Black ace are the guys they bring up. You can carry a certain amount of guys in the playoffs to kind of practice with you.
Yeah.
That don't count towards the roster. But they're kind of changing the format with that. So I don't even know if that is a thing anymore. Like, because I think now you can have as many guys as you want, but they have to fit under the cap now or something like that. I don't know. Connor would know better, but I believe that is a thing now for the playoffs.
So those guys have to fit, like black aces fit under the cap.
I think if you
I'll give you some specifics, but I did search it in Google. What is Black Ace NHL? And Anson Carter popped up. So give me that.
Okay, so that's probably not it.
Oh, Black Ace was guys that they had up with the Bruins. Like once the Providence season ended, they had a handful of guys up that they, were kind of practice players, just to get those guys some experience with, the Bruins when the Bruins were in the playoffs. But now I think because of the salary cap rules, with the long-term IR and how they kind of changed that thing up, I think now you have to be cap compliant, I believe, for the playoffs. So I don't know if there's no cap on the amount of guys you can have, but I think they still all have to fit under the salary cap now. So I think is the way that it is.
Now, here's the other thing. Can they put Steves and Eyssimont through waivers and bury them?
You can still waive guys, but I think they can still get claimed. They just couldn't.
Yeah,
play.
you think Eyssimont's going to get claimed?
No, I just thought they couldn't play for the playoffs. Like, I think the playoff, the playoff roster, thing.
Want all those guys.
Yeah. So like you could still make trades now, but those guys wouldn't be eligible to play in the playoffs.
I'm a little irritated with this thing with Sweeney and Higgins, and I'm irritated because of what we just said. Like
Sweeney's changing it.
Why is this conversation happening right now? Like why? Like I don't understand. So it leads me to believe that there's been some changes. or maybe somebody, Sweens, he has that open door policy. Maybe someone came into the room and was like, or a couple of guys, and were like, Sweens, we kind of like our team the way it is. Like fucking, Hoosiers. This is my team. My team's on the floor. Like they come in and they're like, we kind of like our team the way it is. We know Higgins is coming in. We're gonna love him. We're gonna accept him. It's gonna be great. But we kind of, we think we deserve going with this group that we came with all year long. I could see it.
They just did it with Reichel though, so it's not like they haven't introduced new guys.
Yeah, but that's Reichel replacing Eyssimont and Steves. You know what I mean? If they're, I don't know. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't. I don't know. I don't know. So then, if it's not that, then it's burned in the first year. It's either one or the other.
I think Higgins thought he was going to come in and play NHL games, and I think Sweeney is maybe pulling that back.
Yes, and I'm not sure why.
That's what I think the disagreement is about.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why either, because I think I would like to see Higgins come in and see if his, vision and passing ability and creativeness could help on the first line. But they're happy with their first line right now, so I think that's part of the issue.
No, not Steves and Eyssimont. I'm just saying, like Pastrnak and McAvoy and some guys, some of the leaders on the team went in and were like, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know why this conversation is happening right now, and that's what irritates me. Like it should have been happening before this. Like I don't understand why we're talking pathways right now. I don't know. Go ahead, Connor.
To touch on Smitty's points about the Black Aces, yes, it is unlimited. You could carry as many as you want. And the salary cap does not count aside for your roster that you submit. So if you had a team that had $30 million worth of LTIR players, you could have them all on your Black Aces, and you could rotate them in game by game as you see fit, as long as your 20-man roster is salary cap compliant.
Okay.
Sebastian just said, big number watching tonight. Lots of material getting pilfered. Yeah.
We welcome everyone that's going to see what it takes and post them on the end.
Hey, can you at least have us on the damn show with you so we can
either that or
talk about what we came up with?
Throw producer Connor a little credit.
Yeah. Throw Connor on the show. Connor on your show.
Give him a little fucking cred. That's all. That's all we ask. If you're going to steal his goddamn lines, at least give the guy some credit for it.
Yeah. We were listening to the best producer in Bruins podcast, and he said XYZ.
Yeah. And I will say that Anson Carter line was fucking gold. I'm sad that Matt didn't laugh at all.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
It is. His nickname was Ace too, by the way. Boom.
Ace here.
Yeah. Hey Ace.
Hey Ace. Matt Curtis, what's this disagreement? Wait, I don't know. I'm not. Sweeney didn't say. This is Emily Kaplan saying that the two are talking about the pathways. I'm wondering why this discussion is happening right now. And as Bruins 1970 said, if he's not signed within the next couple of days, then something must be going on.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have to be signed. Like if he's not signed by like Monday morning, we get into Tuesday and he's still not signed, then something's up. So
clearly, because Drew Fortescue just signed with the Rangers. Cole Eyssimont signed with the Islanders. Like people that were in Hockey East whose teams have lost and their seasons are over have signed their pro contracts. Higgins wants to sign his pro contract. By all accounts, he wants to turn pro. So what's the fucking holdup?
Yeah.
We're talking about pathways. That's the holdup.
One pathway.
Yeah. The pathway should be James Higgins to the NHL. But I think Don Sweeney has a different idea. And I think that's what the holdup is. So you want to talk about a disagreement? I think that's where it is.
The only pathway is a parking spot at Warrior Arena.
Yeah.
It is. Get him his own. Connor hasn't said anything about Fraser tonight, who is fucking dangling, says Sebastian.
I'll be honest, producer Connor did not watch any of the game this evening and spent some time with his family, so took the L on the game tonight.
They allowed that?
Yeah, I didn't know that was allowed.
I didn't know that your family spent time with you. I thought it
Yeah,
was
every
just
once in a while they like
chickens
spending
and-
time with me.
Yeah.
chickens and the goats and the
Yeah.
James the duck.
Everybody's
You guys have a
everybody's
funeral for James.
everybody's in Connor's chicken coop, sitting in a circle,
Yeah.
watching the chickens lay
Like
eggs.
duck goose.
Yeah.
So James the duck, R.I.P.
Yeah,
All right,
Um,
skillet.
legend.
Yeah, an absolute legend. Sweeney said at the trade deadline that they let their NCAA prospects play out their season before opening that discussion. It's only been a day. I think you guys might be over speculating. Okay, Forrest.
Yeah, we
Okay.
could be over speculating, but here's something else for us. Why
Yeah.
would he let their NCAA prospects play out their season before opening that conversation?
Maybe
Why
it's
would
just
you not? Why would you not have that conversation? Like, you talked about it last year when he, after his freshman year, and you said, "Oh, we'd like you to go back." He went back. Did you talk last year, like, at all? Like, after this season, he said, "I want to turn pro." You said, "Okay," or you said, "We'll cross that bridge when we get there." So why did it take for the season to end for you to actually start the talks?
Yeah, all I can think of is out of respect for the team trying to make a run
Sure.
in hockey.
I guess.
and all
Yeah,
that. I mean,
I guess so.
I guess. I mean, that's probably a Sweeney.
And
trying to be
Sweeney
a
is,
nice guy.
he's nothing but respectful always.
He is.
I
Right.
just quickly listened to the Emily Kaplan interview. I won't play it so we don't get copyrighted, but she said that one NHL scout told her that he has outgrown NCAA hockey
Yes,
and
that's
that his
that's what I-
intention is to play pro, and that from the Bruins' perspective, they like their prospects to start in the AHL. And from Hagens' camp, he wants to know what he can do so that he will be suited to play 82 NHL games next season. And
Yeah,
that's
I
what
get
he
the
told
answer.
them.
Play for Ryan Mugino. That'll lock him into 82 next year.
82 NHL games he wants to.
NHL.
And
Oh,
one of the things that I'll push back on Forrest in this is other NCAA prospects are signing with their NHL clubs within 24 hours
yeah,
of their teams losing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is
that's
something
odd.
that's newly developed.
that's a
in my
little odd.
opinion.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a little odd. But he'll probably sign tomorrow, and this will all be a moo point.
Yeah.
Because it's like a cow.
We could be. Yeah.
Yeah, could be.
You're right though, Forrest. We could absolutely.
I mean, listen,
overspeculate.
it wouldn't be us if we didn't over speculate.
Yeah. Here we are. I mean, what else are we gonna talk about?
I mean, honestly. It's all, what is it? It's everything is wonderful. What is it? It's everything is wonderful.
Everything is awesome. Like
Everything is awesome. Everything is awesome. All right. 3 up, 3 down. 3 up. Number 3, Morgan Geekie, 3 assists, played better, as you said, Smitty.
Mhm.
Number 2, David Pastrnak. That was a big goal, the first goal, snipe, and then set up Husadinov for the empty netter.
Yes, sir.
Kind of a two bookend moments for him in the game, and 28 goals, 6 away from Morgan Geekie. He also had his how he may have had milestone assists. How much was it?
Pastrnak,
Yeah,
500th, I think.
500 assists. Wow. And then number 1, Swayman. I mean, that's by far.
Yeah.
he was outstanding.
He was absolutely. All right. We'll go the 3 forwards on the 4th line because they were the only minus players tonight. So we'll go Kastelic, number 3. Joonas number 3 because he had 5 hits. Kastelic number 2 because he had 2 hits. And Sean Kuraly, the number 1, he was -1, 1 shot, 1 hit. So I didn't think he was particularly effective. 2 for 2 and 2 on the faceoffs in the faceoff circle. So, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, next year.
They were good. They were good overall as a whole. I'm kind of nitpicking that thing. I thought Joonas and Kastelic were better than Kuraly.
Yeah,
I don't think really any of those guys deserve to be on it, maybe other than Kuraly, but that's just my personal bias against him. Because I think somebody else
Joonas been better lately.
Yeah, it's been.
last handful of games.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Joonas and Kastelic were both really physical tonight and played well overall. But I feel like somebody else could do Kuraly's job better than he can. But he's still here.
That's valid.
So that's just my personal thing there.
Yeah.
Really.
All right, looking ahead. Before that, I just wanted to get your take on AJ Greer's hit.
A dirty hit. How do you? And I'm not sure how you get a phone hearing out of that thing. Like that's like the textbook of
paralyzing.
It can go horribly, horribly wrong.
Yes,
a shove from behind, head first into the boards.
Yeah,
like that's got to be more than 5 games. But it's a phone hearing, so it's 5 games because it's Florida. Because that's one of the things around the league. Florida gets away with shit because Colin Campbell's kid works for the organization, and they don't handle it well. Department of Player Safety just doesn't. These things aren't as, it's not as big of a priority as it was a few years back. Like the bad hits and the headshots and all that stuff. Like it's just not as big of an issue. So it's 5-game suspensions and less, I guess. So I thought it was a terrible hit, and you should get more than 5 games. But
I thought so too. What
the hell do I know?
Yeah, sure. Look ahead. March 24th. So Tuesday night at home against the Toronto Maple Leafs. What do you have there?
I think the Bruins got to win at home, and they got to beat Toronto at home. But I usually pick them to lose, though.
Yeah,
I've been picking them to lose. So I'll pick them to lose. I think Toronto wins 3-2 in a shootout.
The Bruins lose 3-2 in a shootout.
Bruins lose. Toronto wins.
I'm gonna go 4-0 Bruins. They come in. They're a more desperate team than Toronto, and they just fucking bury them. And Toronto lays down after a bad first period. It's a
sounds great to me. I love that.
4-0. Korpi gets a shutout. We have a goaltender controversy with the Boston Bruins.
Something to talk about.
Yeah. Well, hey, great night tonight. Big numbers. Watch all around the podcast world for all of our takes, and we'll be back at it Tuesday night after the Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs from the Garden. Until then, as always, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.